Welcome to this week's edition of the A2Schools podcast. I'm your host, Andrew Cluley, the Director of Communications for the Ann Arbor Public Schools. As always, Superintendent Dr. Janice Swift is joining me today.
Good afternoon, Andrew.
Good afternoon. We also have back again today the Executive Director of Student and School Health and the Community Division. That's Ms. Jenna Bacolor. Thank you for joining us, Jenna.
Glad to be here. Thank you.
So we are continuing to the look ahead for the summer and all the great summer activities that are going to happen through the Rec and Ed department here in the Ann Arbor Public Schools. And of course, when you talk about summer projects and the Rec and Ed, Safety Town is pretty much the first thing that comes to so many people's minds, whether they went themselves or whether their children went. But what do we have on tap for us in Safety Town this summer?
You know, it is such a part of Ann Arbor is that tradition of Safety Town every summer. And I appreciate Ms. Bacolor that I've been able to be out and greet the kids. And I even got the opportunity, guys, to be in the fire prevention activity with a whole set of they're 4 years old, right? 5 years old?
Yes.
And we learned how to get down on the ground and crawl out to safety. It's just a wonderful experience and feels like it's been 40 plus years of tradition in Ann Arbor, and we're continuing here in summer of 2022. Ms. Bacolor, what's that going to look like this summer?
So we're back this year with another 4 weeks of Safety Town with a lot of different safety information presented in a really fun and engaging way, including bike and vehicle safety, fire and electricity safety. That smokehouse is sort of a rite of passage for 4-year-olds in Ann Arbor, I have to say. School bus and water safety. And really, it's an opportunity for our entering kindergartners to be inside an actual AAPS school building for 4 days. Yes. So it's a little bit of an orientation to being in a classroom in a school building. So we do have a few spots left the week of July 18th to July 22nd. And registration is open on our website at aarecedcamps.com.
Wonderful. Can you say how many total? I know we normally do. When I'm over there, it feels like hundreds of children. What's our number usually?
Yeah, we usually are around 500 of our
great.
Entering kindergartners. We do allow kindergartners who might have missed it to do it as they rise into first grade as well.
That's wonderful. I know the parents always appreciate the extra driving and safety tips that they receive from their 4 and 5-year-olds after they've been to Safety Town.
Yes, they will let you know from the back seat if you are about to run a yellow light. That is a very common occurrence. But we also really emphasize bike safety. And with all of the new bike infrastructure in Ann Arbor, it's something that our students will be able to use for a lifetime as they grow up in Ann Arbor.
That's wonderful. And they still get fitted for the bike helmet, every single child?
Yes, they do.
That's great.
And Jenna, can you once again repeat what that week is that we do have still some availability for Safety Town?
Sure. It's July 18th through the 22nd.
All right. So if you've got a rising kindergartner and you've got that week available, rush right now to your website, and make that reservation. What else do we have on tap in terms of summer camps here in the Ann Arbor Public Schools in the Rec and Ed department?
We are thrilled to be bringing back our huge summer camp program. It's very exciting after these 2 pandemic summers that we've had. So we have a full list of sports, enrichment, and other types of camps. A lot of them are already full because our registration opened over a month ago now, but we do still have spaces in many of our sport camps and in our music camps. And we're just excited to spend time with children and doing fun and engaging activities through the summer months.
So, I'm always so impressed. I know your phrase is, it's always summer at Rec and Ed because you all are planning year round for this time of year. But just at that traditional time when folks think of school letting out for the summer, your team is really gearing up. And I'm always impressed that you go from the very first day of summer all the way to that Friday before school starts. And I know that our students are so looking forward. It really is a whole child experience.
Yes, it is. And we make sure that with every camp, our campers get plenty of time outside. And one of the things that's really most heartening for me about our camps is that students come from all different school communities all over Ann Arbor and make friends with each other. And then when they get to middle school and high school, they recognize each other from summer camps. And it's just great ways of connecting students from different parts of town who might not have otherwise met each other.
It is so wonderful. It really is about that care and that connection, and it's about creating community.
Right.
And I'm so
Exactly.
excited for summer 2022. Some of these things we really realized how much we miss them over the previous 2 summers. So it's going to be a great, great summer, and I'm excited. I can't wait to see some of the superhero and Legos and all the great stuff that you have going on.
Yeah, we are very excited too.
Ms. Bacolor, you'd mentioned that a lot of the camps are already pretty full, if not completely full. So it's time to sign up if you're going to be interested in doing them. Do we have some areas where there is a little bit more availability? Some types of camps that maybe some families can be pushing their children into saying, "Hey, this one might be a good one for you to choose."
Sure. Yeah, we have lots of openings in our sport camps, our American baseball, soccer, goal-getter soccer. We also have space available in some of our music camps. And these are both half-day and full-day camps. So we have a really cool one called Mobile Music Studio. And this is an opportunity for students to learn how to write and record their own music in a positive professional setting. So we try to offer a big variety of camps every summer, and this is a new one for us, and there are still spaces available in a couple of these camps.
And what's the way for a parent to sign up?
All they need to do is go to aarecedcamps.com.
And do I remember correctly that we've streamlined the enrollment process so that if you've already signed up for a camp, it's a lot quicker to sign up again. You don't have to start from scratch.
Yes, thanks for bringing that up. We have a new program called ePact that allows parents to enter that health and safety information that can be kind of tedious if you have multiple kids or you're signing up for multiple camps, to have to fill that in over and over again. So with this new program, ePact, you just fill it in one time and then you're good.
All righty, exciting. So we've talked a little bit about Safety Town. We've talked a little about summer camps, but there's also the summer classes that Rec and Ed offers for children of all ages, all the way up to very much adults. Can you talk a little bit about sort of what is on tap for that? And I think the registration for that hasn't quite yet opened, so we should have a little bit more space.
Yes. Registration opens Monday, May 23rd for our summer classes, which are for basically babies through senior adults. So our early childhood program has a lot of different offerings that are for preschoolers, and some of them are for infants and toddlers and their parents or guardians. We also have a lot of youth enrichment classes, and I'm excited to talk about our new offerings for tweens and teens. These are one-time workshops, and you can do as many as you want, kind of mix and match, and they're kind of for the teen who may not want to sign up for a camp, but may want to do something different for an hour. It's just a way to get out of the house, maybe get away from the device a little bit, and have a different experience. We also have a lot of classes for adults, our adult fitness and yoga, and also we have some new programs with the Ann Arbor Symphony Orchestra that are for an adult and their child to attend together to learn how to write music. So there's a whole lot of different things to make your summer wonderful. And the place to go for those is aarecedonline.com.
So those classes are probably the perfect opportunity for the child who doesn't want to commit to a full week of doing an activity, but would like to drop in, do something over the summer. Maybe I should say for the parent that would like to have their child out of the house for an hour.
Yes. And I love how the manager of this area at Rec and Ed called it. She said they're little bursts of fun. So you can just kind of sprinkle in these kind of one-time short experiences. Just get out of the house, do something, interact with people, make something. And we're excited to try this as something for 11 to 17-year-olds to do.
And again, the registration for all those classes is open on Monday, May 23rd. So if you're thinking about something over the weekend, you can check out what the options are and jump on Monday morning and sign up.
That's right.
All righty. Well, that's some exciting news for coming up this summer. It's now time to talk about the good news in the Ann Arbor Public Schools. And this week, I want to point out some new banners that have gone up at a pair of our middle schools recently. Clague Middle School and Slauson Middle School both have been redesignated as Michigan middle schools to watch. It's so exciting that this recognition is being upped on them again. And I would also like to mention that Tappan Middle School is also being recognized by this program. However, they're not new this year. It's not their time to be redesignated yet.
You know, Andrew, it's so exciting. The National Forum to Accelerate Middle Grades Reform is the organization that designates national schools to watch. These are schools that advance excellence in the middle grades. And by that, we mean that they are developmentally responsive, really meeting the needs of students age 10 to 14 years old. They are high-performing, socially equitable, democratic, and fair places. And if you're interested, you can look at National Middle Schools to Watch. There's a lot of information on there, but I am so proud of our middle school teams and our students and all the work they've done to make our middle schools great places for students, first of all, and secondly, to be honored with these exciting and deserved national recognitions.
I just think it's always exciting whenever middle schools get, pointed out for their excellence because, high schools always seem to be at a lot of focus and elementary schools do too, but it sometimes seems like middle schools get passed over on the accolades. So it's great to see 3 of our schools have received this recognition.
It sure is. And, I always think of it as the middle child in a family lineup. And I am an old middle school person and feel so strongly about really the quality of our public schools really being shown in how we transition little kids to big kids. And I always say the magic is in the middle. And certainly our middle schools here in Ann Arbor Public Schools have done an extraordinary job.
Well, congratulations to Clague and Slauson for being redesignated this spring. Congratulations on the hard work. So now we turn to the big question of the week. And I think we're going to focus in still on this summer,
yes,
but specifically on the question of masking, because I know that lots of people have been wondering, what's the deal with masking going to be over the summer months?
Right. So, Andrew, I'm really glad that Ms. Bacolor, Jenna Bacolor, is here with us today. We have been mindful of our COVID mitigation strategies throughout this past school year. And it is a commonly asked question is, what are we going to do during these summer weeks? Now, we have a couple of advantages, one of them being that our summer programs are smaller than our traditional school during the school year. Another one being that we are going to continue our other COVID measures throughout this time. So our improved ventilation, being outdoors as much as possible, those other strategies will continue for the future. Now, with regard to masking this summer, Ms. Bacolor, if you'll help us so that we say it correctly, it really has to do with the CDC community level. So will you share just a little bit more about that?
Sure. The CDC has made 3 different categories to measure community transmission of COVID: green, yellow, and red. And when we are in the red category, that means that community transmission is very high and that hospitalizations have gotten to a concerning point. So currently, Washtenaw County is in that red category. And when we're in red, our local health department and state health department and the CDC really strongly encourage indoor masking. And so when we are in the red, that's what we will do. In yellow and green, that means that transmission is lower, hospitalizations are not as concerning. And that's when, because we're in the summer program and have these advantages that you've mentioned, we can make masks optional. We know that a lot of students will continue to want to mask. They're
Yes.
used to doing it, that they feel safer being masked. That's perfectly fine.
Yes.
We're totally good with that. And as you mentioned, our other COVID mitigation measures will still be in place. We really need parents to keep their students home, their campers home if they're feeling sick or symptomatic. And just taking care, being aware of any symptoms that are there.
Very good. So, we're looking at about, as we always do, about 10 weeks of summer, somewhere around there. And so the idea then being at this time, if we're in red, we would continue with the universal masking while indoors. Now, we know a lot of our camps and even our summer learning occurs outdoors. So certainly that gives folks a break from the masking. But while we're indoors, we'll mask. Now, if we should, and certainly we all hope it happens, go into that yellow or green, then we would transition to mask optional. So let's hope that it is a great summer, that our kids enjoy their learning, but we're going to continue to be watchful and mindful of our health and safety first, as we have throughout this time.
Yes, indeed.
All righty. Well, this has been this week's edition of the A2Schools podcast. Thank you very much for joining me, Ms. Bacolor.
Thank you. It was great to be here.
And thank you, Dr. Swift.
It's wonderful to be here. I just love these positive thoughts and happy thoughts about summer. And thank you, Ms. Bacolor, and to the entire Rec and Ed team. I know it's lots of folks from the community who pitch in, as well as our very own Ann Arbor Public Schools Rec and Ed team. Thank you for that work. I know the kids are excited for that bell to ring and get into their summer activities.
All righty. So this has been the A2Schools podcast. As always, if you have any questions, go to the Ann Arbor Public Schools website at a2schools.org. We're also on Facebook and YouTube under Ann Arbor Public Schools. And if you have any specific questions about the A2Schools podcast, don't hesitate to email communications@a2schools.org. Thank you and have a great week.